Dockweiler Beach may be a fun place to be but has many geological disadvantages that make it unsafe for animals and residents. The beach is currently standing with 6 parking lots and 10 restrooms. The Santa Monica Bay region is the most densely populated area in the United States, which includes Dockweiler Beach. The beach was known to be historically narrow. The shoreline of the beach has been significantly enhanced by man, with 35 million cubic yards of sand added to widen the beach. By 2040, only 50% of the beach will remain, if not artificially enhanced. Climate change, sea level rise, and the growth of beach demand all plays a part in the erosion of this beloved beach. This artificially widened beach contains many dunes and bluffs. Dockweiler has 17 winter sand dunes. These dunes protect beach facilities from coastal flooding during winter storms. 3 major storms discharge at Dockweiler Beach, which is absorbed by sand dunes. These dunes are about 15 feet high and range from 34 to 1,343 feet long. The beach bluffs are home to vegetarian. A youth center was built into one of Dockweiler's bluffs. The youth center has degraded sun bluffs caused by new foot traffic. The bluffs are prone to wind, erosion, and craving. Currently, the youth center is at risk of rising sea levels. Spring 1982 was the last time the ocean reached the center with no damage. Demolition is currently restricted to prevent erosion. The sand dunes inhabit about 1,900 plant species, wildlife, and insects. The dunes are also home to species designated for extinction.
The air quality of Dockweiler Beach is declining due to internal and external factors that can affect wildlife and beachgoers. Fire pits in Southern California are as famous as surfing. A beach fire can emit the same amount of harmful chemicals as a truck driving 564 miles. Beach fires emit tiny particles that are released into the atmosphere. These particles come from wood smoke. The chemicals from these fires can be harmful to residents nearby. Also, sand blown in the wind is harmful to residents. Another source of air pollutant comes from 50,000 cars and trucks per day along PCH. Wood as fuel creates more air pollution than other heating fuels. Windless nights trap these particles in the atmosphere closer to the ground. This accumulates and degrades the air quality. Smelling wood smoke is breathing wood smoke. Incomplete combustions is what makes the wood harmful and pollutant. This wood smoke releases carbon monoxide, which is deadly gas with short-term and long-term health consequences. Oxide and nitrogen are also included in this incomplete combustion, which is the main harms in acid rain and also turns into the ozone when exposed to sunlight, which is harmful to the lungs. Trees absorb many man-made pollutants when burning wood. These pollutants are released back into the air. These particles are small enough to stay airborne and absorb into the lungs and get into the bloodstream, which can be fatal to victims already suffering lung and heart disease. Luckily, the National Park Service of California has already started regulating fire pit usage. Groups of 25 or larger will need a permit to start a beach fire. Fire is only allowed 8 months out of the year to cut back on pollutant. Beach fire pits are legally only allowed to be put out with water and not sand.
The land quality of Dockweiler Beach has experienced some disadvantages. Tourism increases waste and debris on beaches. Waste such as plastic is dumped carelessly on land. Plastic takes approximately 450 years to biodegrade. Glass is illegal on beaches and takes 1 million years to biodegrade. Microplastics are harder to see, but just as harmful and worse. They can accumulate in large quantities in the future. All the plastic ends up in oceans and distributed to many beaches. Construction on a beach increases erosion. Seawalls are the top cause of erosion at beaches. Seawalls increase sediment mobility and speed up erosion. Housing also causes beaches to erode to smithereens. Sand dunes decrease erosion, which is why it is illegal to walk on dunes at every beach. Plants in the dunes catch more sand and prevent sand to be blown away. Lastly, The water quality of Dockweiler Beach has seen better days. The top source of water pollution is from sewage. Untreated sewage in Dockweiler's ocean degrades water quality, and the water can become too toxic to swim at times. 90% of ocean debris is litter. The damaged pump Hyperion of Dockweiler keeps leaking and has been damaged since 2006. 230 million gallons of sewage a day is dumped just 1 mile from California beaches, including Dockweiler. When sewage pipes are being repaired, the sewage is dumped closer to shore. It only takes 1 month to repair sewage pipes. In mid-September of 2015, toxic waste, syringes, and personal hygiene items washed up on Dockweiler Beach shore. These items filtered through a damaged storm drain that was undetected for 10 years. The beach then closed for a couple of days to be cleaned.
I feel as though humans have a mostly negative impact on the Earth's oceans. In every aspect of the ocean and all marine life, humans have done something to negatively affect the natural state of things. We have the 4 spheres I will talk about today that have to do with the ocean. Another thing is the oil on the waters of the beach and boats that cruise liners that are out on the ocean leave. This disrupts the wildlife in the ocean and in their habitat. The large cruise ships that carry thousands of people at a time cause huge amounts of pollution in the ocean and disruption of surrounding marine life. Tourists and overdevelopment of cities around oceans have a large impact on the ocean life as well. Dockweiler Beach is directly behind the LAX airport, where millions and millions of people a year pass through the area. Along with the airport are a large number of hotels and establishments for tourists to see that are near the beach. The sewage must go somewhere, and many times the sewage is sent into the neighboring oceans and dismissed as though this will not create a problem for marine life. Many people that live along the beaches and up on the coasts are not allowed to be a part of the sewage system, so they have their own septic tanks that as well leak into the oceans over time. The piers that are on the beach generally have to be built over coral reefs, which destroy them in the process, and the marine life that inhabits these coral reefs are destroyed. The animals in the coral reef might have been the food to another animal in the ocean nearby, and now that animal does not have the natural food that is meant to eat, and so on. It causes a chain effect of issues. Even something as small as the little souvenirs that can be purchased that are made of sea life and seashells can have a detrimental effect on the local environment.
The effects of climate change can be crucial at Dockweiler Beach. As the planet warms, seawater will expand, ice sheets will melt, and water levels will rise, flooding beaches. California's supply of fresh water could be severely impacted by a combination of natural and human-made forces. Protected El Segundo butterfly at Dockweiler Bluffs will lose their habitats as beaches become smaller. Groins can keep sand from drifting down the coast, but at the expense of the beach's downcurrent. And the most massive constructions, known as jetties, built to keep sand from clogging harbors, can starve beaches even more severely. Even without this added factor, beach erosion has proven to be a big problem for those who own oceanfront property or work in industries related to beach tourism. In response, cities and towns up and down the coast have resorted for years to what's known as beach nourishment, bringing in new sand to replace the sand that's disappeared. A wider beach can reduce storm damage to coastal structures by dissipating energy across the surf zone, protecting buildings and structures. Some beaches do not have enough sand available to coastal processes to respond naturally to storms. When not enough sand is available, the beach cannot recover following storms. Some advantages to this beach nourishment project is that it widens the beach, and protects structures behind the beach. Some disadvantages to this beach nourishment program includes the destroying and burying of marine life at the shores. The cost of this project is approximately $64 million.